Hey guys, this is my SIG Sauer SP2340, also known as the SIG Pro. This handgun came out in 1998 and it has all the features you'd expect from a 90s handgun. We've got a polymer frame, it's chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson, we've got a magazine disconnect, and a proprietary dust cover rail. Everybody was doing that at the time. Accessory mounting rails were a new thing for handguns back then, and before people started doing 1913 or Picatinny standard rails on dust covers, every manufacturer had their own way of doing it. If you wanted to get a weapon light or laser for a SIG Pro handgun, you pretty much only had one choice, and that was to go first party. I finally got my hands on one of the extremely rare SIG Pro accessories for this rail system. Thank you to Zombie on the Discord. He is the only person who has a greater collection of this sort of bullshit than I do. He linked me to this one. I guess he didn't need it, so I bought it instead. It wasn't actually very expensive. It's just that this is the only one I've ever seen for sale in the entire history of my knowledge about the SIG Pro. I've been doing regular Gunbroker, eBay, and forum searches for accessories that fit this rail pattern ever since I first bought my SIG Pro, which has to have been 4 or 5 years ago now. So let's take a peek inside this little time capsule, shall we? We've got a really quite nice looking blue velvet effect on the inside, very presentation grade for a pistol, which is really anything but. Inside we've got a little pin which you can attach to your suit jacket to let everybody know that you own a SIG Pro. And not just any SIG Pro. This one actually is marked, even the medallion is marked, as an SP2340. So it's undeniably the 40 caliber version, not the SP2009, which was released the following year in 9mm. We've got the laser module itself, a tiny little flathead screwdriver, and 2 of the 1/3 N-type batteries. So I sometimes call these aimpoint batteries, but they're also known by a couple of different names. These are what you would use in an old aimpoint comp, aimpoint Pro, aimpoint ACO, or a Streamlight TLR6. So we've got the laser device, which is made by Laser Devices Inc. That was kind of the company that made lasers for a very long time. This thing is manufactured in June of 2000. There's not a lot to this thing. We've got one laser emitter at the front. We got our little laser safety sticker, which has been pretty badly worn. And then we've got the actual system for mounting and activating it. This button on the side here just moves this little clamp out of the way to allow you to clear the trigger guard. So you've got these 2 rails that are angled slightly inwards. Those interface with the proprietary SIG rail on the bottom of the dust cover. And then the latch here on the back of the device latches on the other side of the trigger guard to keep it from sliding forward. We got a battery door at the rear here, which means that you have to dismount this thing in order to change the batteries. Not a big deal because it's very easy to confirm 0 with your iron sights at whatever your desired distance is, even if you remove and reattach this thing. Close the battery door. Not going to do it too tight because I don't think it really matters if this thing flickers on enough under recoil. I'm not trying to destroy it. I'm not trying to carry this thing. We've got 2 activation switches, these little toggle switches, one on either side. Flicking either of them into the down position turns the laser on. Both down on. As long as at least one of these 2 switches is in the down position, we have laser on, and if they're both up, laser is off. And then we've got our windage and elevation screws on the side and bottom, which can be adjusted with the included screwdriver, it looks like. No clicks for those adjustments. They're just free spinning, but they seem reasonably tight. Alright, let's put this thing on the pistol. So we got to slide this dust cover accessory on as far as it will go. And then we need to push the button in on this side. Get that little latch out of the way and slide it the rest of the way home. We can activate it with the index finger, depending on if we're right or left-handed. It's a little bit shrouded, but actually, yeah, not too difficult to get access to. Or you can do the thumb activation with your support hand thumb, sweep it down. This thing kind of looks a little bit like it was produced with off-the-shelf components, like they had, you know, a laser emitter, because this was Laser Devices in the late 90s, early 2000s. They were the guys who made laser devices, like the D-Ball. That's originally a Laser Devices product, not a Steiner product. But these switches kind of seem like something that they just picked up at the Radio Shack so that they could go ahead and solder a few of these things together to sell to SIG. Before we do anything we might regret later, let's peruse the manual. I like the fact that this thing is called the SIG Pro laser. SIG Pro, all one word. SIG Pro, not capitalized, laser not capitalized. They have way more rules of firearm safety than I'm familiar with, including one that says never bring a loaded firearm into a building. What the fuck are you talking about? The SIG Pro laser is a clip-on laser specifically designed to meet the unique requirements of law enforcement and military professionals. The clip-on design allows the user to decide when to attach the laser to the pistol. This exceptional feature, no it really isn't, allows the pistol to be carried in a security holster without the laser attached. When the laser is needed, the user draws the pistol with one hand, while the laser is withdrawn from its optional belt pouch using the other hand. The laser is then slipped onto the frame in front of the trigger guard, where it securely and audibly locks into place. This is borderline hallucinatory. Who on earth would ever carry their laser in a separate pouch only to attach it when needed on the draw? Alright, we've got our SIG Pro laser attached to our SIG Pro pistol. I'm going to coarsely align the laser with the iron sights, and then we're going to go ahead and take this thing out shooting.
So this laser is, of course, civilian legal or eye safe. You know, it's a 5 milliwatt Viz laser, and it's red instead of green. The sun is behind the clouds, and I can see it on target, but it doesn't stand out enough for me to actually probably really acquire that. I have to mostly aim with the sights, and then I can get the laser on target. But let's see here. Looks like it's not quite as aligned as I would like it. I had to rummage around in my ammunition collection for some .40 Smith & Wesson. I found a lot of old, cheap Federal white box high shock hollow points, and a partial box of frangible. So we're shooting frangible. Can I prove to you that the fucking laser's on? At the very least. Alright. Almost reached for a rifle magazine. That would have worked. So the cool thing about accessories for these pistols with older proprietary rail designs is that in theory they can fit a lot more snugly and the contours can match to the pistol, and they tried to do that with this. The specific design of the SIG universal rail is actually pretty smart. It seems like it gives a really snug fit. I don't think this thing would move or shift at all. Can't necessarily say the same thing for the internal laser components, but the actual body of the laser is attached pretty solidly, even though it's just to a plastic frame, and that's without any kind of screw that you really have to tighten. This little button here that releases the latch is just to allow you to remove the thing, just provide security to keep it from falling off the front, although I'm not sure how it could. It's very solidly on there. The downside is that they still fucked it up. So the front has just a little bit of overhang. The contours on the sides here don't quite line up perfectly. There's also sharp edges down on the bottom by the trigger guard. And yeah, it is as far on there as it'll go. It's completely bottomed out against the trigger guard. So that's almost worse than if it was just, you know, a different shape than the pistol entirely. The fact that they tried to make the lines line up and they didn't could be, you know, variance in the plastic frame. I don't know for sure. But yes, at long last, I found the laser that fits this pistol. I would have preferred to find one of the original lights, because lights are better than lasers, everybody knows that, but literally never seen one of those come up for sale. This one finally came up for sale. Friend of the channel, Zombie, who you might know from Discord, linked me to it. And it was not expensive, it was very affordable, so Hell yeah. Gonna add that to the collection to go along with this pistol that I just never shoot, will never carry, probably could never sell. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.